Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining Apache Beam Day on Google Open Source Live. This is a monthly series of sessions led by experts from Google and community leaders. We really appreciate everyone taking the time to come here digitally to learn more about Apache Beam. My name is Samuel Rodi, and I'm a software engineer working on Google Cloud Dataflow in sunny Seattle, Washington.
And I'm Robert Burke. I also work at Google as a software engineer, working on the Apache Beam Go SDK. I'm located in rainy Seattle, Washington, and I'm excited for you to learn about Apache Beam. For those of you new to Apache Beam, it's a unified model to write both batch and streaming data processing pipelines. This allows you to write portable pipelines once and then run in a number of different environments, like Cloud Dataflow, Apache Flink, and Spark, just to name a few.
If you're looking to learn more about Beam, you're in the right place, as we have some really interesting topics today. We'll kick it off with a talk from Inigo San Jose, walking us through the life of a Google Technical Solutions engineer, and speaking about distributed data processing with Apache Beam. This presentation is it's a great overview and introduction to Apache Beam, going into some specifics, some generalizations, and kind of a broad overview about how Apache Beam works. Next is Boyuan talking about the new data source API that allows for more expressive batch and streaming reads. Before this, we had something called the custom source API, which was not very expressive and led to some very cluttered and buggy sources that were in Apache Beam. And so this new splittable DoFun API will allow you to optimize your sources and write it in a more clean way. Then next is Alex Kosalapov from Akvalon about how they use Beam with Dataflow templates. Finally, we'll wrap it up with William Sykes from Wiseline describing building Beam pipelines with CDC and Debezium.
Before we hand things off to our first speaker, though, we have a couple of housekeeping items. Don't forget to put your questions in the live Q&A forum below the live stream window. Speakers are ready to answer your questions live. If you're viewing in full screen, you'll need to exit full screen to see the live Q&A forum. Our sessions have been pre-recorded to allow for accurate transcripts, and that so speakers can focus on answering your questions live. We would love to hear your thoughts on these sessions, so feel free to make comments in the live forum. Once we're done, don't forget to join us all at the after party on Google Meet. We will share a link to Google Meet at the end of the last session. Oh, and last but not least, use the hashtag GoogleOSLive to share your experience on social media.
And with that, enjoy.